Fixez.com bringing you yet another repair video today. Looks like we're going to be working on an Apple iPod Nano 7th Gen. In today's video, we're going to show you the steps necessary to remove and replace your display assembly, which consists of two pieces, the LCD as well as the touchscreen. Before we get started with our disassemble, let's review our suggested tools. Small Phillips screwdriver, plastic opening tools, a spudger, fine-tipped curved tweezers, precision knife set. Let's go ahead and begin our entry into our iPod Nano. Flipping it over, revealing our small back cover near the speaker jack side of the iPod. We want to go ahead and attack that back cover with a razor blade or an X-Acto knife for removal. Let's be very careful as our Bluetooth antenna is housed right below this backplate. With the backplate removed, we can now gently peel up our Bluetooth antenna, not removing it completely from our iPod as it's still attached to our motherboard as well as with an internal Phillips screw. There is a black spacer right below our Bluetooth antenna that we need to remove. Remove the single Phillips screw and that spacer should be easily taken out from the iPod. Two securing screws for our display assembly are revealed with that spacer removed. Let's remove these Phillips screws so we can begin peeling up our display assembly. The display assembly is a little tricky to peel up. We used our spudger to assist us in prying it up from the iPod so that we can access our securing screws as well as all of our ribbon cables. Be careful not to use too much force as you may cause damage to the LCD. Once you have the display assembly peeled up from the iPod, you'll notice right behind the home button that there's a single Phillips screw securing the Bluetooth antenna in place. Let's go ahead and remove that screw, as well as disconnect its coaxial plug and remove the antenna from the iPod. We can now slide our display assembly out of the upper portion of our iPod to go ahead and reveal both of our ribbon cables. Releasing first the ribbon cable for our touchscreen, and then the next one for our LCD. At this point, the display assembly should be completely freed from the iPod for removal. Now let's separate the touchscreen on our LCD. We have 3 Phillips screws around the metal frame on each side of the display assembly. With all 6 screws removed, it's gentle prying to lift off the touchscreen from our LCD and separate them. At this point, if your replacement touchscreen did not come with a home button and a frame for the LCD, we want to go ahead and peel off the framework as well as the home button so that we can reinstall it onto our replacement piece for reassembly. It's now time to go ahead and reassemble our iPod 7th Gen Nano. Let's begin by prepping up our replacement touchscreen with our home button and our LCD framework. Let's set our home button in place, making sure we align the two dimples on the back of the button for the framework that's going to go over place of it. Here's our existing framework for the LCD. You'll notice that we installed new adhesive strips on this framework to secure it down to our replacement touchscreen. Fixez.com sends out free adhesive strips with all of our replacement parts. You'll need to use a razor blade or an X-Acto knife to cut your adhesive strips to length and size and install them in preparation for your replacement parts. Let's go ahead and peel our covers away on our new adhesive and set our LCD framework in place. Let's be certain to line up the two dimples into the holes on the back of the framework. And let's firmly press down around the entire frame to secure it to the touchscreen. At this point, we can bring in our LCD so that we can slide it in place and align our 6 securing Phillips screws to complete our display assembly. With the 6 screws securely in place, we can now bring the display assembly over to our iPod to secure our 2 connections, one for the touchscreen and the second one for our LCD. We can now reinstall our Bluetooth antenna, starting with the coaxial plug. And next mounting it with the single Phillips screw that secures it in place. With the Bluetooth antenna installed and secured, we can now slide in the top portion of our display assembly into the upper lip of our iPod, and then firmly pressing down on the display assembly around the entire perimeter, seating it flush with our iPod. Lining up our 2 mounting screws for the display assembly that's located below the back plate, and reinstall our 2 Phillips screws to hold our display assembly securely. Let's reinstall the black plastic spacer that's located under our Bluetooth antenna and secure it in place with its single Phillips screw. And we can finally cut a few small strips of adhesive to secure our Bluetooth antenna to the spacer. And then additionally 2 adhesive strips cut to secure the back plate on the back of the iPod. And there you have it, another successful repair by Fixez.com. All of the parts and tools you've seen today in this video are available at www.fixez.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.